following is a production of the Department of Broadcasting and Journalism at Western Illinois University.
Live from Salee Hall in high definition. News 3 starts now.
Bulldogs will soon be taking over the town of Macomb. Good morning and welcome to this special Rocky on Parade edition of Good Morning Macomb.
That's right, 23 new Bulldogs are headed this way to Macomb, and they are fashioned after Colonel Rock III himself. They will be seen on display across the community.
The first Rocky statues made an appearance back in 2013, modeled after the popular Cows on Parade sculptures in Chicago. And now we're seeing a whole new bunch of beloved Bulldogs make their new way to their new homes.
So, how did this all get started? I talked to the many people behind Rocky on Parade as we get a look behind the scenes.
The Rocky on Parade committee is a hard-working group, but that doesn't stop them from having fun.
It serves a multitude of purposes, really. First and foremost, I think it's a public art project to beautify the city, make it a little more interesting. Second, it's a way for the community and the university to work together. It's an opportunity to showcase local talent and regional talent, artists that we have in the area. And probably most important, it's to fund scholarships for art students.
Many sponsors were open to donating and, wanting to purchase a dog. So, one, it looks good on our resumes. Two, it looks good on the art department. Three, it looks good on their half because they're contributing to us. And it was just a really good opportunity, and I had a lot of fun doing it.
When we first started out, we had 14 dogs the first time. We thought maybe we'd get into double digits. We didn't really know. And then this time around, we shot for 20, I think it was, and we ended up with 23. Sponsors have stepped up and really been fantastic. I mean, I think we probably could have had 60 dogs if we had the time and ability to do that many at one time. I mean, it really has been truly an outpouring of support from people locally, from people on campus who've sponsored, and really all over. It's just been a great opportunity for us to showcase what we can do.
What they can do is quite a lot. The committee manages to finish the entire process in a year's time. The artists themselves utilize as much time as they can to get their Bulldog finished.
I actually was able to do this in about 2 weeks, but that's because I came in the studio every day for 3 or 4 hours.
It was a lot of hours. I would have to stop painting just because it was all wet, so I couldn't keep going. Otherwise, I was going to just smear purple all over everything.
I've never worked with this paint before. We use One Shot, and that paint can withstand any weather. It's really, really sticky, and it doesn't come out of your clothes. So that's not going to be on my pants forever.
It's just a different material to work with and a different body, because normally either you'll make the sculpture and you'll paint it yourself, or you're just painting, and so painting on something that's already made was kind of interesting.
Getting the areas that are hard to get to, the stomach and the feet, I had to turn him on his side so I could make sure I didn't mess up or anything like that.
The lays were definitely the most difficult because there are a lot of really fine details and stuff. So when it comes to all the points on here, that was hard to get, and then I'm left-handed, so I'd always touch it and then touch something else, and then I had to paint that again.
But before the artists can get their hands and pants covered in paint, they need to have a vision set in place for their Rocky.
I went out to Hawaii for my winter break last semester, and I just kind of loved the culture because it's so calm and relaxing, and I just kind of wanted to bring that to Illinois.
One of my favorite painters is Jean-Michel Basquiat. He was a street artist from Harlem, and he didn't have any formal training. This is actually one of his paintings that he's done, and it's very inspirational to me that you can have absolutely no formal training and still be very successful in your art career.
The molecular structures of oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine are chemicals in the body which are commonly attributed to the feelings of love, happiness, and joy. So I chose these because I wanted something that would be kind of synonymous with WIU and the student body.
I wanted to do something that was purple and gold, and really popular in the media is the superheroes and stuff, or movies and stuff, so he is super Rocky.
Rocky on Parade is a project that has left its mark on the city of Macomb. It gives residents and visitors a piece of local art to appreciate and look forward to.
There's not a day that goes by where somebody goes, hey, I love the Rockies, I can't wait to see them at Town and Gown. I'm going to go to the parade to see them. I'm going to jog around and see them all. Yeah,
can't wait to see the new ones.
Can't wait to see it every day.
Creates new interest in Macomb and make Macomb the rich cultural place that it actually is. Almost, I think all the dogs this time around are from people who are extremely local and have created some fantastic dogs for the project.
Every single one of them is so different and unique, and they're all really beautiful. Like, everybody has such great talent.
It is such a massive project that most folks only see at the end when the dogs are there. They don't know the time and energy and hours that the artists themselves put in designing it and creating it and then actually executing it on the far end. You know, the time and effort it takes to get them all ready and organized, the time it takes to get the plates cut, to get all the stuff that these guys were talking about. You know, it's a lot of hours of work, and it has to be fun to do it, and that's why it's such a great group to work with, and I think that's one of the things that makes it pay off for us more than anything.
If you feel like taking a dog walk, the 14 original Rockies are all located in Macomb. You can find a map at wiu.edu/ROP.
And coming up after the break, I'll introduce you to a special group of people who make Rocky on Parade a success. Stay tuned to the special edition of Good Morning Macomb.
Welcome back to this special edition of Good Morning Macomb. Today we're taking a close look at all things Rocky as we go behind the scenes of the public arts project, Rocky on Parade.
That's right. Something like this takes a lot of work and generous sponsors.
For $1,500 or $3,000, sponsors get a Rocky statue to display in front of their business. The funds go towards continuing on the project and even towards art scholarships at WIU.
That's right. I sat down with a couple of the sponsors to know what this parade means to them and how important it is to be a sponsor.
80 years ago, the Leatherneck fight song came to Western. Rocky has been singing and dancing since 1959. But 2 years ago, 14 more Rockies came marching to Macomb. Businesses and individuals purchased these Rockies to support and hail to the true and loyal Western. This year, 23 new Rockies have fought their way to Macomb and will be joining the other 14. Dan O'Neill was one of the first to purchase a Rocky statue 2 years ago and is participating again this year. Dan is the owner of Sports Corner and is looking forward to being the owner of a second Rocky.
Macomb's a great community. Western's a vital part of this community, and every time there was some type of a community event, we were interested in helping out. And through the events, you get to make a lot of friends, and through, you just get more and more involved with the whole community and the activities. The first Rocky dog we had, I wanted a sports theme, and it is a sports themed dog and what have you with all the different sports from the university. The second one I left entirely up to the guys out there in the art department, and they've done a great job what I've seen so far.
Dan says Rocky is a symbol of WIU, and the Rocky statues keep the community close to WIU. Dan and Sports Corner aren't the only sponsors of a Rocky dog, such as Brad Major from WIU, who loves to show off his Rocky dog to the community.
Well, when they came to us first for some support from the foundation, we were pleased to step up because thought it was a great idea that would build some town-gown relations, and the community stepped forward and was very supportive. So we were pleased to purchase the first Rocky, and because of that, we got to pick the first artist to do one, which was Jan Clef from our art department, who's been a good friend for many, many years. And since it's the foundation, it's Western, we really wanted something in purple and gold, so we kind of left it to Jan to come up with a design for the dog.
You can see this purple and gold Rocky outside the Alumni House on Adams Street. Brad was happy to be involved again this year with the Town of Gown event.
The community is very active, very involved in this process, and a step forward. And the money goes to good cause, scholarships for the art programs.
Sponsors enjoy not only the Rocky statues, but giving back to the university. State Farm Representative Kathy Early agrees.
I just thought it was a great idea. I remember the cows on parade in Chicago and how fun that was, and there still are some of those. I go up to the city and see them do that in different formats. I've seen it for World Cup soccer. There were soccer balls all over the city. So when they said something about Rockies on parade, I thought it was great. Don Crouch is the artist for my Rocky dog. He's a former chair of the Department of Art at Western, and he chose a variation of the Van Gogh painting Sunflowers for it, the gold kind of going well, and he customized it a little bit more, put some hummingbirds, some other things on it, put a little State Farm dog tag on the dog just because he was having fun with me, and customized it in a couple of other little individual ways too. But it was great to work with him. But my attitude is I basically let the artist go for it.
Just like Rocky says, we are marching down the way to win this day.
Although you can find all the Rockies here in Macomb, this year you'll be able to find one at the Quad Cities campus.
And you may notice a difference in size between the Rockies. There's the big dog and the alpha dog. Big dog will run you $1,500. Alpha dog is $3,000.
The best part about it all, the big dog gives a $500 donation to the WIU Art Scholarship. Now the Alpha Dog gives $1,100 to the Art Scholarship.
That's great. Coming up on this episode of Good Morning Macomb, we talk to the man, the myth, the bulldog, in that order.
That's right. Up next, Colonel Rock III. You don't want to miss it.
In 1959, a 2-month-old English bulldog arrived at WIU to serve as the first official Leathernecks mascot. Now, more than 50 years later, the tradition lives on in our current mascot, Colonel Rock III.
We talked to Rocky's caretaker, Joe Rosalieve, about the history of the bulldog tradition and what it's like to care for the most loved dog on campus. News 3, Mark Gorski reports.
Rocky has been an icon for about 60 years, but a lot of people wonder why our mascot is an English bulldog. Joe Rosalieve says the history of Rocky is a little complicated.
So I think in actually 1959, the SGA acquired it, and the first owner, to my knowledge, there wasn't a definitive one owner. It was actually passed around from kind of fraternity to fraternity, and they kind of ran the live bulldog program for the first few years of it. At that time, we had that name transition into Leathernecks, and as you know, the Leathernecks, another name for the Marine Corps, and the institution taking on a Marine Corps-based name, the bulldog seemed like a perfect fit for that.
English bulldogs typically live about 7 to 10 years, yet there have only been 3 Colonel Rocks throughout those 60 years.
From 1959 to 66 was the first, 66 to 73 was the second, and at that time, in the research that I've found, it's that at that time the costume mascot really came into play.
It all started with a papier-mâché cutout of the original Rocky costume, and it has had several updates to this point.
There are some disadvantages of having a live mascot at times, and so I think with those, if somebody may not have a dog to donate to the university, or somebody didn't want to take on the responsibility, I just think that kind of gap in time just kind of took over. They said we've got a costume mascot, so we're going to roll with that.
After many years without a live mascot, our current Colonel Rock III turned from being someone's dream to everyone's dream.
We had a guy on the football team whose father was really, really invested. We just had finished the east side of the stadium, but attendance wasn't huge. We lacked some school spirit. He kind of came up with the idea of we need to have a live mascot. Every school that you have that has a huge following has a live mascot. And in his research, he found out that 37 years before that, we had one. And so he kind of came with the idea of re-energizing it, bringing that mascot back. And so he talked to a breeder in Seneca, Kansas, that he had worked with before, and he talked to them. They donated the bulldog, and so he was actually bred for, with the purpose of being the mascot.
Joe says becoming Rocky's owner took a bit of work.
I tell people, I often joke, it was harder to get the dog than it was my job here on campus.
Rocky is indeed a worker for University Housing and Dining, and as with any job, there are many duties.
He has a lot of duties. I mean, probably most people see us at athletic events, but we've got a plethora of other things we attend. We do a lot of community service things. So we visit some of the schools in town when we get invites, preschools. We do 2 or 3 parades a year. And then, of course, on campus, we do a lot of different things for philanthropic events. We try to make as much as we can throughout the year.
From people wanting high fives to selfies, Joe expresses his love for Rocky just as much as the residents in Macomb.
It's really, really cool to see just people come up and want to high-five him or just want to get a picture with him. And of course, the doghouse, that was something kind of near and dear to my heart. We built this last summer, my father and I actually built kind of a state-of-the-art doghouse that's 6'9" in height, got full air conditioning, can be towed behind a golf cart. So we brought that out over the last couple of football games. But for the most part, he's been awesome. I can't complain one bit. If he didn't act the way he was, we wouldn't be able to do those things. And so he's probably the most calmest, most loving dog that I could ask for to have as part of that role.
Rocky will always be the symbol of WIU as the original Leatherneck.
It doesn't matter if they're 2 years old or 80 years old. They know who Rocky is, and so that's been probably the coolest part throughout all this, is in parades and all these different events, is people that may not have any affiliation with the university certainly know the brand of Rocky.
And some fun facts about our current Rocky. He joined us May 15th, 2010 from Kansas. and his birthday is March 3rd.
During the week leading to his birthday, the university celebrates the Bulldog by giving away cupcakes to his fans and photo ops. You can help donate to Rocky's care by donating to the WIU Foundation.
Just include a note that designates the gift is for Rocky's funds.
Coming up next on Good Morning Macomb, we all think we know our mascot, but how well would we do if we were put up to the test? Johnny Cather asks the tough questions after the break.
Welcome back to this special Rocky on Parade edition of Good Morning Macomb. I am here with Rocky himself, Colonel Rock, the mascot for Western Illinois University. We're out on the quad in campus talking to students, seeing how much they know about their fantastic mascot. All right, what's your name?
My name is Kristen. Taylor. Marley.
First question, what is Rocky's full name?
Rocky Colonial Jr. I have no clue.
It has to do with the military. The first part is...
Colonel Rocky the third. I don't know.
In what year was the Rocky mascot introduced?
1948. 1738.
What was the first Rocky costume made out of?
It wasn't actual dog fur.
It's kind of like it's an arts and crafts material.
Oh, like paper mache or something?
Paper mache.
Art stuff. Is it paper mache?
It is paper mache, but you cheated. What kind of a dog is Rocky?
I got this, bulldog.
Nice, nailed it. She got that one, Rocky. Who created the first Rocky costume?
What? I have no idea. Jack Thomas. I don't know.
I think Jack Thomas was like 10 when that happened. Well, the students here at Western Illinois University might not know too much about their mascot, but he's still the best mascot in the nation. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Johnny.
And now that we've learned all about these Rockies and Rocky on Parade, let's take a look at the unveiling of these new statues at the WIU Alumni Association annual Town and Gown celebration.
The 23 new Rocky on Parade Bulldog statues were unveiled at the event. This year's sponsors include Macomb Auto Parts, WIU Foundation, First Bankers Trust Company, John Blovell,
Dodsworth Piper Wallen Funeral Home, Roger Clausen, Citizens Bank, Wesley United Methodist Church, Wesley Village, Bill Epperly,
Dr. Scott and Ann Urch, Tony Ashenhurst, Gary and Marilyn Johnson, Corey and Diane Clem, Woodrum Automotive.
Anonymous, WIU Parent and Family Association Class of 2008, WIU Parent and Family Association Class of 2009, Sports Corner at 124, Weston Investments,
WIU Parent and Family Association Class of 2010, WIU Parent and Family Association Class of 2011, and Dr. Shane and Carrie Van Vliet. The dogs are featured in the WIU Homecoming Parade, and the statues are then placed in their final locations throughout the community and the WIU campus, including for the first time in the Quad Cities.
This is an opportunity for us as a city and the university to come together and say, you know, this really is what it is about. If it weren't for the University, Macomb wouldn't be the town it is, and if it weren't for the collaboration we have, you know, this community just would not exist in the fashion it does now. Now, it's an opportunity for us to acknowledge one another, to reinforce and collaborate and make everybody understand that without the other doesn't get very far. The greatest mascot we can hope for. In the real life, he's a great inspiration, a great spirit for us to rally around. But seeing the Rockies on Parade, what an awesome community development tool. I mean, we're talking about not only extolling the benefits and the attributes that the institution has to offer, but bringing that together, bringing that trademark, if you will, Rocky into the community and saying, we as a community, we as an individual business, as an individual entity, say we believe in the spirit of Rocky and how we get together on and off campus, and we're proud enough to put him and the spirit right in front of our business or where we work.
Thanks for tuning into this Rocky on Parade edition of Good Morning Macomb.
You can catch Good Morning Macomb and all other News 3 productions on Channel 3 and on YouTube.
We're always updating you on the latest news on Facebook. Search News 3 WIU TV.
We're also on Twitter. Find us at News 3 WIU. Have a good morning, Macomb.